Hi, this is Kevin Brown with your 2-Minute Tuesday. Read an interesting line in the New York Times recently. A headline: Your rabbi, probably a Democrat. Your Baptist pastor, probably a Republican. Your priest, who knows? So, what does your pastor or religious leader believe? It's interesting. The New York Times was quoting, really based its entire article on this finding about how you can really tell what your religious denomination leader believes by what denomination that they're in, at least on social issues and so forth. I found it interesting. Of course, blue are the Democrats and the red are the Republicans, and then the gray area are the independents. And so we'll start out with Judaism, Reform Judaism. Of course, by and large, 80% plus Democratic. You see that there, top line? Only 5% Republican. And then you get to the Episcopals. You see that see them noted there. About 60% Democrat, about 20% Republican. And then you get to Presbyterian, and they're about 50% Democrat, about 25% Republican, starting to swing a little bit towards the Republican, the red. And then you get Methodist, about 40 Democratic, 35% Republican. And then you get to the Roman Catholics, and this is where it's really kind of a split, about 30-30 on Democrat-Republican. You see that there? About 30-30 for the Catholics, and about 40% independent. So really a split there. That's why the headline there, your priest, who knows? But then you get down to the Southern Baptist, which I am a Southern Baptist, if you haven't figured that out. And you'll see the Southern Baptist about less than 20% Democratic and about 60% Republican. And then you go all the way down at the bottom, and you got the Wisconsin Lutheran. Interesting that Wisconsin went for Trump. Wow, that's a huge percent. 70% thereabouts Republican, less than 5% Democratic. So I found this interesting, that you can really tell what your pastor believes or religious leader based on what denomination they're in. Because as the Times points out, pretty much by and large, this holds true. Because the religious leader of that denominational church or group is by and large going to go with policy decisions based on their theology. Now, isn't that interesting? That based on what a person believes theologically directs their political decision making. But we don't want that, do we? We don't want Christians to make political decisions based on their theology, do we? We want them to divorce that. You can't divorce that. That's like telling a bird not to sing or a grasshopper not to jump. So I'm here to tell you, and so is the New York Times, that the denomination of your religious leader is going to really, really be closely tied with what they believe, even politically. This has been Kevin Brown with your 2-Minute Tuesday.